all systems are go for a badass quad day today. 45 minutes of cardio already done this morning at around 8-ish. So that means after this quad session, and I'm gonna do the treadmill post quad cardio instead of the bike, because I don't want to just take the quad day easy on cardio. Like, I want to keep that energy burning up, but to sit on the bike immediately after hitting your quads, I don't think that's the answer either. The treadmill isn't very quad intense. If anything, it's kind of more of like a glute hip flexor thing, because that's what's like flipping your feet back and forth, and maybe some calves. But you're never walking around thinking, oh, my quads are so sore, you know. But one little extra thing. I was gonna wait a little bit later into this diet before busting out this one secret trick that they don't want you to know about. And this only works if you're already pretty lean. Like, I don't think this is going to help you if you're at like 15% body fat, or like if you don't have visible abs, you can't see like really separated quad insertions. It probably won't change anything. But now that I'm at this level of body fat, and I don't want to say a number, because like body fat percentage can kind of get thrown off based on how big someone is. Like a guy who is let's say 160 pounds, decently lean, versus maybe me at like 220 pounds. If we both have the same amount of fat and like we both look similarly cut up, well, my body fat percentage is going to be much lower on paper than his would be, because he's got more body weight to counteract that fat weight, you know. But visually, like, our legs might look the same level of cut up. Like, looking at it as a number isn't always the answer. But no, I was gonna wait a little longer, but I couldn't help it. So if you ever get leaner, and I don't think there's no point shaving your legs. Like, I'm gonna have to do a full-on, well, I guess not head, a full-on like shoulder to toe shave pre-competition. If you get all tanned up and oiled and you go on stage and you're furry, it really like kills your look. Like, you got to be like a freaking swimmer trying to maximize your fluid dynamics. But no, just like any kind of little trimmer. The only one I have is like kind of little, so I was sitting there for a while, and I didn't want to bother doing it in the shower, because I mean, it's probably just gonna fuck up my drains if I like put in a ton. So I'm just standing there, and then after like 20 minutes, I had a pile of all my leg hair at my feet. But it was like pretty substantial. Like both legs too, plus calves. I mean, it was like somebody got a freaking haircut, right? But what that's gonna do is kind of just make any little texture or like shadow of a vein on my quads and hamstrings, and just little cuts and separation, much more noticeable and much more, like, you'd say stark, like much more abrupt, you know. So it's just a little extra something. And I was just thinking about this. The longer that you get into something, odds are the easier that it's going to be to do it without facing any kind of repercussion. Like, I could definitely see me getting made fun of in high school if I was like buzzing my legs because I wanted them to look cooler. Not that I think that would have thrown me off my game, but I could definitely see that, you know. So if you can tell you're on the younger side of things and you're really getting into, you know, let's say bodybuilding, you're prepping meals, you're doing your cardio, this is your thing for real, you know, as long as you actually believe that this is something you really want to put that much energy into, well, then who gives a shit what somebody else says? It's not their legs, it's not their day, it's not their routine. You know, anything they are gonna criticize you for is just kind of like a weird social, like, projecting. Don't even sweat it, man. But now that I'm older, and of course I'm like more established as a bodybuilding kind of guy, I never get any flack. Because it's like, yeah, obviously he would buzz his legs so they look cooler, you know. So it just kind of comes with the territory, I guess. But I'm excited to see how they look, even just unpumped. So I'll probably do a pre-quad, just little flex off in, good lighting, see how they're looking, and then just see how drastic of a difference I can make them from that pre-pumped look to post. So what is going to be in between, I'll kind of just have to see. Leg extensions for sure. I was doing some hack squats last quad day, like pendulum, or not pendulum, like sissy squat style. Those were cool to throw in, but I don't think I want to do that again. If anything, if I'm going to do a leg press, I'll go a little heavier and just do the seated hip press that I've got kind of hidden away in the corner. That is honestly probably up there as one of the best quad presses that you can get your hands on, because the strength curve is really nice because it gets lighter at the bottom, so you don't, I don't feel like my stomach is going to explode in the stretch position where my knees are coming into my fucking torso. But it's also really, it gets heavy quick, so it's like you're benching on a machine where you don't feel like you're going to rip your pecs off at the bottom, but you can still push extra freaking hard at the top. It's just a solid ass leg press. And with the safeties, if I fail, I'm not going to get, hydraulic pressed. It just catches the weight right then and there, and I'm cool. That's one thing I guess I understand the logic, but it's like driving without a seatbelt. Or if I see someone squatting and they're, no safeties, no spotter, no nothing. I'm not trying to put that energy out there, but a squat can go south. I mean, really anything can, but a squat is one of the heaviest movements you can do, and all of that weight is the only thing between it and the earth is your relatively fragile body. I say relatively because if you're putting man against steel, as cool as we may feel about ourselves, steel wins. If you've ever had Instagram show you some pretty nasty CCTV camera footage, then you know what I'm talking about. So just stay safe out there. That's my main point. That's never something I'm going to say where I'm going to get tired of saying it. That's for sure. But yeah, quads first, and then I'll have to make a little excursion. I've got so earlier this year, I got a little step pad. Technically it's a full-on treadmill. It inclines, it goes, 3 miles an hour, but it's kind of like it's meant for a kid, because even when I'm lighter, I'm gonna get to 230 pretty soon. If I don't step directly in the middle of the treadmill, it starts sticking. It just kind of sucks. So actually, I think that's on my to-do list. I'll probably have to get a U-Haul, or just a U-Haul truck or something, and it doesn't need to be new, but it does have to be a commercial unit of either just a treadmill, bike, something like that. So maybe I'll scan around for that when I'm doing my post-workout cardio today. But I think nothing else to say. Let's just go see how quads are looking with a little bit of a visual upgrade. Yeah, let's get in there. All right, so lift has not, wait, let me turn that up. Come on. There we go. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So, completely unpumped, completely cold, nothing has even freaking begun. But, let's see how quads are looking. And I mean, I might be a little biased. I might want to say that I feel like I look cooler than I really do. But even without doing any proper flex or anything, just kind of looking at my quads, I feel like we're a level above last year. Definitely in terms of time frame. This far out from being supposed to be final form lean. I mean, shit, that's a pretty substantial amount of quad separation. And I feel way more long head than I'm used to. Let me try to do a real big kind of wide-in shot. Yeah, what do you think? Are those some freaking quads or what? Yeah, and I swear, without the fuzz, kind of just getting in the way of showing everything off, like grain and separation much more apparent. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about when I say the three parts of your quad. We're talking teardrop, this big chunk here, this outer kind of like, and then this center part in the middle. So sometimes with some guys, the center piece has sort of a different shape. I think mine are they're pretty similar. The right one has a little bit of a different insertion than the left one does. And then the right one doesn't have as much like veins popping out on the inner thigh portion as the left one does. Let me try to do a little breath hold and get those to pop out. Oh, oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't even freaking sit here and hold them. So let's do a couple more just to see if I can get some feathering visual and then go actually start the lift. So I want to see some like cross muscular lines on this outer edge and maybe even a little bit down here if possible. Yeah, we got a little something going. This side's a little extra fancy, I think, at least today. Yeah, that's all sorts of freaking stuff. Very good. But let's stop fooling around, pull my pants back on, and go sit down to the leg extension. Okay, so a little bit to preface this lift, because even though it's quads, and I'm going to go pretty hard, like I'm not slacking, this isn't a workout that built my quads to where they are, you know. Like, don't forget, every workout isn't necessarily a reflection of exactly where you are at any given moment. It's where you're headed in the future, right? One day of dieting doesn't do jack. Just like one day of bulking or one day of doing your cardio, it's all about how it adds up continually. So if anything, just even sitting there doing that pumpless flex off, I'm thinking, so that's what quads that could hit 6 plates for 8 on squats look like. Can they hit that right now? Not a fucking chance. No shot. Nor would I even want to do that. I just end up hurting myself. But this is a dieting, muscle, or just quad maintenance workout for me. A really good quad day, I'd recommend just going back 4 months and picking any of those. You know, and towards the end of the off season, stuff like that, where I was camping out on 5 sets of leg press, 2 sets of Smith squat, or whatever else like that. And I'm excited for those to come back, but in due time, right? It's not the season. It is the season to get lean right now. So for set number 1, 115 pounds, which is well within reason. And I like doing 5 reps on one side, 5 on the other, like that to start. Kind of just because I think it makes it a little easier for me to take this set further, if you sort of feel what I'm saying. Because instead of just straight reps, which, my quads start burning, I might start thinking, okay, I want to call the set early. By going back and forth, alternating, I feel like my sort of intra-quad fatigue looks like this. Like, okay, 5 reps, I'm starting to feel it. And then when the other quad does its 5 and this one gets a break, well, then that fatigue kind of drops a little. So it's like climbing uphill, coming down for a second. Climbing uphill, come down for a second. So it's just a different way to change it up. Light. This won't be the most intense set because it's kind of half warming me up. But let's get started. With a different song, though. Yeah, there we go. All right. Down. All right, a few more, and I'll go up and weight each time. So 130 next. But I'm already feeling it after that one. Two. Yeah. Okay. I think let's do some leg press. 7 plates on this hip press, which is heavy enough that it's heavy, but it's light enough that I feel like the leg extensions have already warmed me up. So I just had 7 plates already here, ready to go. If I was gonna go crazy, like off season, like work up to like 11 or like 12 plates, I'd wanna ease up, you know? But this is very quad biased. My hamstrings, I did a feeler rep, so it's about right. I mean, this might be pushing it a little more than normal, but I think a lot of time gets wasted re-warming up or just like getting yourself ready for a set of something. But if your intended muscle group is already warm and it's already worked from a few working sets, what's the point of dropping the momentum, you know? A good example would be if I just did 40-pound dumbbell curls and then I was about to do 80-pound easy bar curls. Even though it's a different movement, the intramuscular tension is going to be the same. It's still 40 pounds in each hand. You don't need to warm up again, man. Like, it gets straight into it. Don't go so crazy that you think you could just like squat full weight after some calf raises. But once you're in the zone, I don't want to get out of the zone, if you feel me. But let's get real here. 7, anything less than 20 would be embarrassing, I think. Shit. One more. Whew. Oh, shit. Do some breast pause. Okay. Oh, shit. All right. Back to some leg extension. Oh, fuck. Get just a straight up set going. Not too heavy. Just a little something or other. Because those leg press sets definitely added up. And usually off season, I mean, shit, I can do 5 of those with like 10 plates, plus start with a squat, and then finish with a few sets of leg extensions. Not as much when I'm lower, running on lower carbs. But how does this? That's about right. Just a basic straight set. All right. All right. Two. Okay. Oh, one more of those. Holy crap. Yeah. Honestly, I mean, let's do one more and then I'll decide. Because, I mean, quads are close to done. This is like finishing touches. I've never made it, but I know the basics of how you'd make like a beef Wellington. Maybe that'll be next, maybe a whole new same sort of cooking. But, you may put the shit in the oven and you get it all prepped. These last few sets, just getting a little extra pumped. Just a little extra something, I think. Oh, come on. All right. Oh, yeah. 2. Yeah. Okay, holy crap. Okay. I think that might be it. Ooh. We'll see in a second. Either we're about to pose down or one more set of leg extensions. All right. Yeah, there we go. So, I did one more set of leg extensions. Didn't clip it. It was just a little set for me and me alone. But let's see how quads are looking. So, well, yeah, what do I even say? Let's let the pump speak for itself. Because the leaner you get, you may actually notice that some muscle groups are cooler unpumped than pumped, which I know, sacrilegious talk. But let's just get a little glimpse here first. There we go. Okay, one more second. Had to crop into APS-C mode. But yeah, I mean, So that's a set of quads. And one more thing, that's a set of quads that are flat as shit. And by flat as shit, I just mean like for me, because I'm running on low carbs. So, not to say like I feel flat. Like I'm not looking at myself thinking, oh, they're not as big as they should be. But it just makes me excited because it's like, man, shit, my quads are already looking this kind of freaky and they're low on glycogen. So, well, let's just run through a couple poses first before I kind of get into the specifics. But yeah, shit, this is probably my wildest quad wobble ever. That is for sure. So that's one more goal too. I want to actually see glute striations this time around. For the amateur stage, no glute striations. I was able to get a pass, but nah. This year, I need these to be like fucking slabs of steak. But yeah, even without so this is really cool too. Is actually being able to see my hamstring like round over the back. I gotta actually learn how to do like a good side relaxed here. But this separation of quad to ham, yeah, that's freaking sweet, And if you're not into bodybuilding, of course you wouldn't give a shit. But for me, I mean, this is what I've been doing. This is what I've been doing, not only this whole time, but like specifically dieting for the past, however many months to get to this level of leanness and beyond, because there's still more to come. But let's get one more just straight up like quad vein flex shot and see how veiny I can get them. Oh my gosh. After posing that much, I can't even do it. But yeah, just like looking down for me to see all these veins and everything, I'm feeling good. I am feeling rather freaking good. But what I was going to say was right now, since I've been eating only, 200, a little more carbs per day, plus fats, but fats aren't really going to make me feel carbed up or anything. I'm flat. So how I think about it is internally in your body, you've got two energy stores. One is going to be muscle glycogen. I don't think it's exclusive to muscle, but all your cells have little storage containers, which is full of sugar water, because that sugar, like that glycogen, I'm not like a biochem student or whatever, but that's a pretty instant like turnaround fuel into ATP, get yourself running, right? Like the idea of drinking a Gatorade so you can fuel up, that's what we're talking about. So across my entire body, every muscle cell, if we could do a Mrs. Frizz, like get in the school bus, shrink it down, then every little bit of my forearm and my quad and my pecs have little containers of sugar water. So right now that I'm dieting and I'm low energy from my calories, well, if that's one fuel source, what's another one, right? Body fat, your fat cells that are just all over the place, usually pretty evenly dispersed. Guys normally have it more torso oriented. Girls are a little more even throughout, maybe more in the legs. But that's stored energy, right? A bear's hibernating, it's not going to eat a ton of food. It's running off of all of its internal body fat for the most part. So how do those two work, right? The way I think about it, and I think this is a pretty accurate take. Feel free to give me a comment if you're a real pro at this. But carbs are easy to run off of. So if I've got a bunch of carbs in my system, I'm going to run off my carbs for energy. But once my carb stores get low enough, you still need some just to run. So your body's always going to make sure you have some carbs all over the place. And once they're low, well, shit, that's when it's got to start using its internal energy from body fat. So as long as I keep my food calories low enough that my internal carb stores are low, then I'm going to make up for that excess energy deficit with body fat, right? So if tonight I said, you know what? I'm having a refeed. I'm having a crazy refeed. I'm going to eat 2,000 grams of carbs, Skittles, popsicles, Pop-Tarts, a full 8-pack of Uncrustables strawberry. The strawberry is the best. I like grape too, but you want to change it up. I'm having Krispy Kreme. I'm having whatever. 2,000 would probably be excessive. I don't think I'd ever eat 2,000. I'd probably feel good at like 1 or something. So let's just say 1. Well, I'm not instantly just going to put on a bunch of body fat, right? A lot of those carbs, as long as I drink a good amount of water too, are going to get funneled into all those intramuscular sugar water containers. So I would probably wake up tomorrow morning feeling full as a fucking house, you know? And that's what I'm going to do March 5th. March 5th. I assume that that's going to be check-in day at the Arnold. So I got to come in, get on the scale at a weight under 227 pounds, which I'll be able to do. 227 dieted. I'm not going to have to suck down weight like earlier this year for this show. And then eat as many carbs and a good proportion of water so I don't spill over until I'm super full of carbs the next day. So that's kind of how I think about that. But either way, for flat carbs pumped up, for flat quads pumped up, I'm feeling really good about today. So let's pack it up, get in the car. All right. Yeah, call me a wuss, but with how my quads feel right now, I don't think doing at least immediate post-workout cardio would really help the situation, you know, because it's kind of it's a cost-profit, what's the word, costs-benefit analysis, because it's like, if I sat on the bike and pedaled, especially after how wrecked my quads are, would that just put my quads in like a more stressed state to the point where they wouldn't recover as well going forward? I don't know. So call me a slacker, but I might only just do the 45 minutes of cardio this morning and chill out on post quad day session 2. I'll think about it. It's only 3:45, so if my quads feel a little more, if I get a little more pep in my step later, maybe I'll just get some pedaling done. And I can't emphasize this enough. If you've got room somewhere, an at-home cardio machine is, it's absurdly quicker than going to the gym, you know. And it's not like you need a fancy one. Like every bike at a Planet Fitness or like at a Lifetime Fitness or whatever, at least if it's like one of the new ones and it like has a screen that like has Netflix on it. I don't know how much Planet Fitness pays for that from like Matrix or whatever, because they're not just buying one at a time. It's like a whole crazy corporate deal. They're probably buying like at least 20,000 pieces of cardio equipment for like a full year deal or something. I'm sure they get a crazy deal, but no, man. Just like scanning Craigslist for one that looks decent. Personally, I like the recumbent style. I still call it like just the seated bike, but the seat with your feet kind of like in front of you pedaling instead of right below you. Either one's fine if you can find it. Straight treadmill's cool too. Put it on incline. You can still get your heart rate up to where you need it to be. I just feel like I can get, well, I guess I just like the bike. You don't have to sit and walk and, kind of wobble back and forth. It's easier to play on your phone when you just sit and pedal, which I know is like kind of a, like iPad kid thing to say. But if it makes the cardio easier to do and makes you more consistent doing it, well, then who cares, right? I want to, I want to be freaking watching a show, playing Clash Royale at the same time, and then scrolling like random Reddit threads. And before I know it, 45 minutes, all done. Perfect. That's a good situation for me. If I'm sitting on the phone wasting time and I'm like supposed to be doing something, that's a different story. But if you're on the bike, dude, distraction is the name of the freaking game. But we'll see. So I'm definitely feeling a little something. Ugh. That was what, 7 sets total? 2 leg extensions in the beginning, 2 pretty decent sets of leg press, another 2 leg extensions, not crazy wild, but they were good, and then a little finisher at the end. Just all I did was 5 reps on the left, 5 on the right, 5 on the left a couple times, and then finish with some double leg, faster, kind of more pumpish style reps. And then that was all, you know. But I really can't, like, that was a workout purely meant to, like, stimulate my quads. That was not a quad annihilation, like, propel my quads into new growth kind of workout. Which is a little weird for me, because that's the workout I like. Those are the workouts that are the most, like, fun and exciting, because I'm breaking into new ground. I see a lot of, you know, very blatant statements on like TikTok or Instagram about working out. But one which kind of gets me a little is people will hate, and this is like pretty rare. I don't see it a lot, but they'll only hype up a 1 rep PR and not a 10 rep PR. Whereas, you know, unless you're a power lifter, in which case, what do you care what some bodybuilder thinks? But the 10 rep PR, I think, is a way more impressive number for 2 reasons. For one, it means you've actually got, like, semi-decent control of the weight. It's not just one crazy, I mean, and then what do we even call a 1 rep max too, right? We're seeing slingshots, we're seeing elbow wraps, wrist wraps, elbow sleeves, and not like just for the purpose of like joint protection, you know? I mean, I wonder what I could do if I threw a slingshot on 5-layer extra crazy wraps, sleeves, and everything. It'd be nuts, right? It would only feel as heavy as my normal heavy sets, but all those extra little things would help lift more weight. And I see the appeal. Obviously, it's cool to lift a bunch of plates and like get a video of yourself doing it. But the 10 rep PR, I think, is where it's at, because you can obviously go for a PR, usually off season, or if you're just main gaining, either way, and the attempt in and of itself is still progressing your workout well. Like I used to do 1 rep PRs. I remember I did 450 on flat once, 455, my heaviest flat bench ever. I don't even think I touched my chest, but let's just count it just because. But, you know, that was like the whole chest day. That was like all my hype and energy for the whole lift. Just come in, do 1 rep, and then it's like, what are you supposed to do from there, you know? Plus, not even mentioning like the risk level of just, you know, tearing your shit, to be blatant. So I don't see it. And then if I start with a heavy set of bench, let's fast forward into next off season, or go back. The last time I was at Gold's Gym, that chest day was really freaking cool. I did like 365 on incline for, it was like 15 almost, and it was good. It wasn't like half rep, like it was a good set. I might go back and watch that just to like get myself amped again. But you know, you start off with a good heavy set, you still get that kind of like strength ego boost of like, yeah, I did it, nice. But also to have done a really heavy set to failure in an off season, or at least in a state of progressing, whether that's main gaining, actual bulking, whatever, well, I mean, you're kind of just already good, you know? Like when we talk progressive overload, it's, I don't know, people have kind of a weird take on it, where guys will kind of talk about like, okay, yeah, you've got to, you know, add just every day you come in, add 2.5 pounds on either side. Add 5 pounds to your bench every time you do a bench, or every time you do a set of bench or whatever. You know, make sure you track in your book that you went up 10 pounds every time. And from my experience, at least, training strength isn't that linear, you know? So I've never done like classic like lifting programs. I kind of forget what they're even, I know there's a few that are like pretty famous, like starting strength. I feel like that's definitely one. I don't know, but basically a program where you find out your max weight and then you do sets of like 70%, 80%, 90%, things like that. I've never really saw the appeal, because for me, how I think about it and this is in an off season, trying to grow, trying to get bigger, stronger, progress, that if for the heavy sets, especially fresher into the workout, because those are really the gauge of your strength, it doesn't matter what I can do on incline bench on the last set of a workout. It doesn't matter, but in the beginning, that strength can kind of correlate on a day by day, week by week, whatever. So what I want to do is come in, and if I'm doing a few heavy sets, then I want to know, okay, this is a weight that I can really only get around 12 with. Like 12 is I only ever got 11. I feel pretty strong today. I bet I could get 12. If I really bring it with that weight, so let's say, fast forward in the next off season, I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to get bigger, I'm trying to get stronger a little bit in turn. That's not the point, but it's kind of a byproduct. They go hand in hand a little. And I'm doing incline dumbbell. Let's say I can do the 150s for like 20. And right now I did it for like 15 or 14-ish or something. So yeah, that'll definitely happen next off season. So, all right. I know I can do the 150s for X. Let's go up a little. Maybe let's do the 160s or the 165s. All right. I don't need to track how many reps I got on any given day if I know that, okay, I'm going to do the 160s today. And let's say I get 13. Fail at 13. That's as much as I could get. I just propelled myself into new ground. I just really brought it. And in doing so, when I come back for chest next time, assuming I rested well and I ate well and I recovered well, I should be able to do that same weight for, if not the same number of reps, maybe one more or maybe two more. Maybe it's a really awesome night of sleep and things are just going well and all the stars are aligned and I do like 4 more reps or something. I don't know. It's like if every time I really bring it as hard as I can, then I have no choice but to progress in weight and reps because I will have come back stronger, Like every year you go to school, you're a little smarter. So when you come back the next year, even though all the classes are harder, you can handle it. And then you keep kind of moving forward like that, right? So it's not like I don't value the idea of tracking your strength and your reps and your weights. But at least I don't track it like specifically. I'm not writing down that I did the stack for 15 on a pec deck or I did it for 14 or something. I kind of just have a good gauge of my general strength. So as it goes up and down, like right now, dieting, down, relatively. And that's also kind of on purpose, so I don't rip anything or hurt myself or just, be stupid in the gym. But as I come back and I want to get bigger and stronger, as long as I seriously bring it every training session and then bring it with the recovery in between, well, then you just keep moving forward a little bit, So I guess my question would be, if you can tell you're not progressing how you want, are you giving yourself the stimulation that someone who is progressing is? You take 2 guys, one dude's a little more casual in the gym, and then the other guy's a freaking beast, and he's going crazy, and he's like listening to the same funk remix on repeat. Who gives a shit? He's going after it. Who's going to make better progress, right? Who's more excited about their training? Who's more into it? Who's getting more amped? That's a variable that doesn't get enough love. That's a variable that doesn't get hyped up enough, because training is not just sitting down and studying. Coming into the gym and getting a pump is not you don't learn the PEX gambit where it's like, if I do this, this, and this, well, then I'll leave the gym with a pump. Like, no, man. It's not so cut and dry as that. There's no formula, right? It's a little more guttural. I don't want to say animalistic, right? But it's just, it's not so black and white as you just come in and do it. Like, you've got to do it. You've got to be behind it. And then everything else that you would want in terms of your gains and just progress. And I think we don't want to just come to the gym to be slightly bigger or slightly leaner. There's also kind of just the back end of like, you're a different guy, At least in my experience, I found that the dudes who really bring it consistently in the gym, I'm not saying for a few months, I'm saying for years, especially at all the expos with all the guys I've gotten to meet and everything. The ones who have been consistent, they bring it, they love it, and they've got all sorts of other stuff going along with it too. I mean, they're just cool, you know. So maybe I'm a little bit biased, of course. Like when I was in college, all my buddies weren't the guys who I had class with. They were the guys who I had class with, who I also saw at the gym, and then we would talk, you know. So there's definitely probably some bias in there too, but they all ended up being sweet, you know. So it's more than just a physical thing. It's more than just a, hey, I went to the gym, where are my gains? You know, I'm entitled to gains. I came to the gym every day this week. Like, it's not about just showing up. It's not a class that where you're what's the word? Or your attendance just gives you a C. You know, like, you've got to show up and you got to actually, you know, pay a freaking attention. So just keep that in mind. I think I think a lot of guys too like that. I haven't. That's probably something I should really ask. I think I might want to write down like a whole bunch of questions to ask some of these guys next time I see them, especially the Arnold too, because I wonder what their moment is. Because for me, I've had a few. I've had a couple moments where it was like, all right, shit, I gotta bring it. Like, basically, I gotta get my shit together. You know, early me in high school, I'm working out. Okay, fuck. I procrastinated like this random essay, which, you know, now means totally nothing. But in the moment, it was like the most important thing in the world. And it's like, I just stayed up super late to finish it. Well, now I didn't work out. Okay, what do? Do I just go down, go to sleep and give up, or do I hit it? What would Baki do? Baki hit a fucking lift. What am I even doing? Get up, awesome chest day in the basement. You know, I'm waking my dad up because they were sleeping above me because I'm in the basement. So I'm like trying to gently re-rack everything. A couple moments like that. Like, it's just kind of just getting yourself a little bit invigorated. So if me saying that brings something up where it's like, yeah, I remember that one time this and this happened and it made me think whatever. I'd really like to hear that, because that's the kind of story that I like to hear, because that just gets you freaking amped, you know, just like not exactly underdog, but just kind of like an overcoming, if you feel what I'm saying. But yeah, plan now, go get some steak into my system, and I didn't think it would rain. This is freaking crazy. Like, it can't be more than, holy shit, it's 52 degrees out right now. I mean, this is sweet for me. I hate being cold. So I'm going to enjoy this warm, you know, albeit gloomy day. Go get some food and hang out with the freaking cats. So I'll see you tomorrow.